Hey guys, Sleepy Reader here. Sweltering up here in my man cave, my upstairs man cave. We had 102-degree temperatures today, which is very hot for Oregon. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the 5 really good comic books I read that I bought on Wednesday. There's Wonder Woman 12, Saga number 6, Batwoman 12, Captain Atom number 12, and Daredevil number 17. I kind of love this cover. It looks like a poster, and it's very cool looking. I wish I liked the artwork inside quite as much. It's by the art. The cover is by the interior artist Michael Allred, who you might know from iZombie. I know him best from his independent superhero called Madman, who is kind of a humorous, crazy superhero that had kind of a retro look and also a indie comics, alternative comics kind of look. And he still has a very alternative comics style of drawing, even though he seems to be moving into the superhero world, the mainstream superhero world a lot more. And I think the style works better when he's doing regular people than when he's doing superheroes. The superhero parts look a little too clumsy, a little too out of proportion and out of control, a little too childish. So in one way, it kind of evokes early Daredevil, maybe some early John Romita Daredevil or Wally Wood Daredevil. But those artists were really graceful, and their drawings were simple but kind of beautiful. And there's a certain amount of ugliness to Mike Allred's art style, a kind of odd, quirky awkwardness where everything feels a little off, a little wrong to me. And I don't know if that fit entirely well with the story here. Although it looked very good in some of the, as I said, in some of the non-superhero scenes, like these scenes where Foggy and Matt Murdock are just eating at this fancy restaurant, because I assume it's a fancy restaurant. Those look kind of cool. But other ones just don't work for me, and the layout seems a little awkward, so I'm being a little down on the artist. The story is very good for what it is, which is kind of a retro fill-in kind of story. You know, it's almost like a Daredevil story might have been in the early 70s or late 60s maybe, but with maybe a stronger emotional twist than they might have had back then. As a usual little bit of extra Mark Waid touch along with the classic superhero thing. But it was just a filler issue. Like, I wanted to know what was going to happen next from issue 16, and I don't know anything more. I've just been reminded what good friends Foggy and Matt Murdock used to be. In the previous issue, they had a big falling out, and I just wanted to know more about what the effect on Daredevil's life would be, and more about the mystery that seems to be behind why they've been knocked out. So this, for a filler issue, it was cleverly crafted writing and everything, but it was just a little bit of a letdown because it was kind of a filler waiting for the next real Daredevil story. I had no disappointment with Captain Atom 12, except for the bittersweet knowledge that this book's about to be canceled. So this is the last regular issue in its continuity, and then there's the 0 issue, and then it ends. So in a way, this is the last issue in my mind, although I will get the 0 issue. And I've really enjoyed Captain Atom, and it's had its ups and downs a bit, but it's been a kind of interesting exploration of some science fictional ideas, not really a superhero comic, although the guy has superpowers. And in the last issue and this issue kind of form a 2-issue story where Captain Atom splits his human self off from his superpowered Uberman self, and thinks he's going to have a happy ending, and then some things happen and he has to make a sacrifice, and so he ends on a kind of a bittersweet note, but a heroic note, and very good, a very satisfying one. The art is really nice. I don't know if I've just gotten more and more used to Freddie Williams' art, or whether it's been getting steadily better, even though he must have known by now that the series was being canceled. He's just really got his game up. And it's kind of a distinctive art that doesn't quite look like anyone else's. And it went very well with this kind of science fictional but emotional kind of story. There's some cool science fiction stuff in here, like when they travel, Captain Atom and this scientist who used to be his mentor kind of travel to the edge of the universe and beyond, and learn about how our universe is eating up another universe that it's inside of. That was very cool. So if you have been reading Captain Atom, don't skip issue 12. If you can pick up a few issues, including issue 12, I would recommend it. I bet it'll be hitting the cheap bins if it hasn't already. So kind of sad to see it go. Not really surprised that it's canceled, since it's not really any fish nor fowl. It's not really a science fiction book. It's not really a superhero book. Not a horror book, which seems to be a more common genre where you don't have to be superheroes and be successful. Anyway, so they had 12 good issues, and maybe a good 0 issue. Good fun. And Captain Atom is a lighter book somehow. So that's part of why I liked it, even though he's kind of like Dr. Manhattan. He's not. It has a lighter, more whimsical, goofier feel that was very successful. Batwoman, J.H. Williams is back on the art, and I guess I forgot exactly how good he is, or maybe he's even upped his game even more. The art in here is just spectacular, and the writing seems at a much higher level than in the past 6 issues where J.H. Williams was just doing the writing and not the art. I feel like the writing totally integrates with the art here in all kinds of beautiful and poetic ways. And another cool thing is we get more Wonder Woman, who suddenly I'm a Wonder Woman fan. And so Batwoman and Wonder Woman are going to share a story arc here, I believe. They share this issue. We go back and forth between what Batwoman's up to and what Wonder Woman's up to. Wonder Woman is a bit of a bloodier, more Conan-like character, I guess, in this version than she is in her own book, but still really well done, really well written. And it's just amazing how perfect. Now I've suddenly blocked his name. He's going to my head. They didn't even put his name on the cover. They're so confident in his art that they don't. J.H. Williams. It's so perfect in every way. I guess I would describe his art as being amazing both in the layouts. He's now very famous for all his elaborate layouts, often double-page spreads. The kind of thing that you really can enjoy most in a floppy comic book, more than you could in a trade, definitely more than you could in a digital comic book. So he's known for these elaborate layouts combined with just beautiful, beautifully crafted drawings. And I don't know, also just incredible changes of perspective, but everything's perfect. You can follow it perfectly if you can read it on a page like this. And it seems like in the entire book I saw one hand that was a little bit smaller than it should have been, and other than that, every single detail seemed perfect. It's just amazing. The amount of time he must put into this is stunning. Here, if I can maneuver things well, you can see a flower, a perfectly drawn flower, with a perfectly drawn bumblebee hovering over it. It's just amazing. But it's not like you're just looking at static, beautiful pictures. They're also moving comic book pictures that really tell a story. So I think Williams' writing works much better when he's doing the art. Then it really integrates. I also wondered if the reason I didn't like the previous art where Williams wasn't drawing, because certainly there the artists were quite good, maybe he and his co-writer were holding back a little and saving their best stuff for when he would be drawing. So, and I'm assuming we're going to get an ongoing 6 issues by him and then 6 issues by a fill-in artist, 6 issues by him. So we'll have to see if that continues to be a pattern of the writing quality going down a bit when he's not doing the art. But so even though this continues the story, the general story that's been going on since issue 1 and is now looking to go on for at least another 6 issues, it all seems fresh again. And certainly the introduction of Wonder Woman into the mix is good. There's all kinds of incredible scenes, but there's this incredible scene where they're fighting what she called something like Bloody Mary, who is alive but exists only inside these pieces of mirror. And so we're talking to her inside all this shattered mirror. Williams does magic, kind of slightly horrific magic, incredibly well. I could just go on and on about it. So I really love this issue. It's kind of fun to get a different Wonder Woman, and I'm not reading Justice League, but I understand she's different there too. On the other hand, Wonder Woman is so good in her own book, it's a little weird to have her be a slightly different character. But that's just the way comics work. Everybody's take on a superhero is different. Saga number 6 is sort of the end of the first chapter of Saga. And it's very good. It doesn't have any of those holy cow, I can't believe they did that moments like most of the other books in the series has. So it's a little less exciting if you've come to expect those. But it's a very good continuation of the story, following our couple with their baby, Marco, and I'm forgetting names again. Anyway, the couple with the baby and their ghost babysitter, and they find at last their rocket, which is incredibly cool. I guess if you haven't already read it, I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'm not going to show you the picture. The art is nice. The coloring is a little more subdued in this issue. It's still all very good. It's just a solid continuation of the story with a nice twist right at the end. So, as Vaughn and Staples have proved, they're very good at making you want to read the next issue by the last page of this. This cover's very nice, a different mood than the others, but a beautiful evocation of a certain kind of rocket ship. So I really enjoyed this issue of Saga. If you, by some chance, haven't been reading Saga, as a lot of people in the community have been pointing out, the first trade is coming out at $9.99. Through some of the mail order places, you can get it for like nearly half of that. I think Discount Comic Book Services is offering it extremely cheap right now. I might buy a copy if I can get it that cheap, just to have and to share with friends. So that would be a great way to jump on if you haven't already been on this bandwagon. Vaughn states in the text part at the end that they're going to take 2 months off, which is not at all surprising because Fiona Staples has been producing this incredible artwork with doing the pencils, inks, and colors all by herself, 6 months in a row. So taking 2 months off for her to catch up makes a lot of sense, and it seems well worth the wait. I also saw an interview with Vaughn, probably on CBR, but somewhere online, where he said that he knows what the ending of the story is, but he's hoping this will go on even longer than his other long series, Ex Machina and Why the Last Man. I think Why the Last Man went for 60 or 70 issues. So I guess he has a lot of plans for keep going. I do have to say there's one... It's all very good, but there's a certain amount of magical thinking. And this is a story that combines magic and science fiction, so fantasy and science fiction. But sometimes the danger of fantasy is that things are too easy. So to get into the rocket ship, they're told, oh, you have to do X. I don't want to give it away. And you just do X, and then you magically get what you want. And so sometimes that kind of thing seems too easy. And something that happens near the end of the book happens via magic also. And I worried a little bit that was too easy. So that's just a slight niggle in because I'm an old science fiction reader and I like things to be logical and there to be a certain amount of effort to accomplish something. But very, very slight niggle or little thing bothering me in my head about it, but nothing big. The interesting thing about Saga, compared to most comic books, since it's not a superhero comic book, it's not a standard science fiction or horror, it's not a standard anything, and it can go anywhere. So with every issue, you wonder, what if they'll go off in a direction I don't like, or what if they'll go too weird or too goofy, but so far every issue has maintained that sense of rightness, of going in the right direction. So incredible stuff. And finally, Wonder Woman, Kiss of Death. I'm not sure that title makes much sense, actually. This was a great issue, and I don't want to spoil too much here either. We see the fruition of lots of... It's a great 12th issue. We see a fruition of lots of stuff that had been building since issue 1. A betrayal that makes a lot of sense when you look back and think about what was going on, and more development of Apollo and Hera. Wonder Woman herself doing really cool things. I think this is my favorite picture in the whole thing, showing her bouncing off a little sort of moon knives being thrown at her by Diana, the goddess of the moon. Or Artemis, perhaps her name is. I still get confused with the Greek names of gods and the Roman names of gods, etc. Cliff Chiang back on the art. But I'd gotten so used to Tony Akins that I thought I would be all excited to have Cliff Chiang, but I like Tony Akins at least as much. I've gotten used to what he does. But here's some incredible stuff. So incredible stuff done with mythology. There's this incredible... There's first a twist of the big betrayal, and then there's an incredible twist on the last page that has you so excited for what's coming next. That makes this kind of the most exciting book, or has you most excited for what will be coming next in issue 13, which is 2 months away because of the 0 issue. But we'll be fans of Wonder Woman and certain how to not give it away. Certain characters that are beloved by a core group of people who might be returning will keep us waiting on the edge of our seats, I think, till the story resumes in October. But this issue really fulfills, the first year of Wonder Woman beautifully. So a great week of reading comics. I have more to read. I picked up Batman 12 because I'd heard a bunch of good things about that with a battle against Batwoman. And I'd been wanting to give Batgirl another chance because I've always liked Gail Simone's writing until this version of Batgirl. I think I read the first 2 issues and I just didn't care. And then I decided to stay on the Animal Man bandwagon and start picking up Swamp Thing. I think most of the people I heard gave this prologue to Rot World a good review, and I think the fact that the 2 covers fit together really made me want it. It's really goofy. So I have put Animal Man back on my pull list and put Swamp Thing on my pull list. I don't know if the Swamp Thing trade is out yet. I had planned to just read Swamp Thing in trades, but for now I'm going to read it in the floppies. So some more good stuff to read, and lots of other good stuff to read too. I have so many comic books lying around and graphic novels, etc. So I will probably be making another video in a few days. I will be looking for everyone else's videos who hasn't made any this week, and I will talk to you later. Sleepy Reader out.